really no way to like quantify like a spiritual experience or like mysticism because it all kind of happens inside of your head. There's no external phenomena. I took a psychology class at high school and that was pretty interesting. And like being in high school, like it wasn't super in depth, but it was still a good like starting off point. And also just like in my like teenage years, I had some like struggles with depression or whatever, and I just like learned a lot about that on my own, like whether through like the internet or like reading books about it. And I just thought that was really interesting, and I think it would be a good place to like lend my efforts to on a big scale. What I would like to end up doing with it is probably some sort of counseling, like probably like substance abuse counseling for the time being. So I always thought that the way like people's brains worked were interesting. The different ways and varieties of like people and how they think differently and want different things, but they all kind of want the same thing. As I got older and like learned more about like consciousness and like the way that people change it, whether through like meditation or like adrenaline or like substance use, just was very interesting to me. I used to be a neuroscience major, and what I really wanted to do with that, I was interested in like pharmacology because like I had read a lot of like Alexander Shulgin and his experiments with consciousness, reading Prometheus Rising, reading like Carl Jung too, some different substances that one can use for therapeutic benefit, and I really wanted to study that. A lot of the time people kind of get too far away from like what their unconscious is kind of telling them to do, and that kind of gives rise to a lot of like problems, whether like psychological or physical or spiritual. At the end of the day, like everyone has to figure it out for themselves what philosophy or like worldview works the best for them. But like, if someone has a different worldview and it works for them and like they're doing good and not being mean to other people, then like who am I to say they're not doing something right? Like it seems like they figured it out for themselves, and I can't say as much. And another thing is just like it's hard to tell how people work on the best of days, and knowing about psychology helps a lot with that.